Gender-divided sporting events. What could possibly go wrong? Hello everyone, and let me first start off by saying yes, I am a dude. Thus my opinions on this topic could be seen as biased. Therefore, I'm attempting an analysis of the situation surrounding these events, rather than standing on a soapbox broadcasting my opinions to you. What does all that mean? It means take this with a huge bottle of salt to the back of the head.
Kick his ass, Seabass!
Also, it's worth noting that when I use the term sports, it can refer to contact sports like football, non-contact sports like golf, as well as mental sports like chess. Chess, if you didn't know, has segregated leagues for both male and female players, in most cases, thus removing the dominant gender by science argument. So, while you're watching this, please consider that women in sports is not the takeaway from this analysis. Alright, now the lawyers are happy, let's get into it. A decision made by the International eSports Federation to hold gender-divided tournaments has come under fire recently. The tournament would exclude women from competing in Hearthstone, Dota 2, and Ultra Street Fighter 4. However, the lady gamers can still compete in their female-only StarCraft 2 and Tekken Tag 2 tournaments. Your immediate reaction to this should be, what the F? Why? And that's precisely what echoed across the entire internet. So much so that the IeSF has retracted its announcement and has now opened up all tournaments for both male and female players. Hooray! We won! Or did we? Let's try to look at this objectively. The IeSF initially proclaimed that the segregation of players would help encourage female gamers to join in on the fun by offering them a girls' club tournament. Also, the IeSF is desperately trying to get eSports recognized as an actual sport. However, to be successfully acknowledged as a sport, they would need to follow the same regulations as all other pre-established sporting events. One of the most common staples of these events is to have a men's and women's only tournament, which is something that, as a majority, most of us have grown to accept. You see, when I say women's basketball or women's water polo, it doesn't sound strange to you.
Because it's all part of the plan.
However, when you say men's Hearthstone tournament,
Well, then everyone loses their minds!
While I see what the IeSF was going for, their execution of that plan would be their ultimate downfall. What's the spark that lit this fire? The tournament offered men a Hearthstone competition, but nothing for women. A simple solution, one that would stay in line with the IeSF's initial intentions while offering female gamers what they want, would be a female Hearthstone tournament, right? So you would think that when the IeSF responded to the echoing outcry on the internet about their injustice, they would have just announced a parallel female-only tournament. Well, they didn't. They folded and opened up the tournament for everyone. All right! Oh, except for those two tournaments that are still only for female players. Wait, but that, what? Well, Ryan, esports are mostly populated by male gamers, therefore having a female-only tournament encourages female players to join esports tournaments. Does it though? Is that what female gamers want? Doesn't that just contradict the whole point of this revolution in equal rights for esporting events? Weren't we just trying to stop the persecution of a single gender in esports tournaments only to shift focus from females to males? I feel that I need to remind you that I don't personally feel strongly one way or another about this, but it's irrefutable that the IeSF just displayed the most textbook definition of hypocrisy in the history of ever. We didn't solve the problem of gender equality in esports, we just put a band-aid on the situation. Some people are perceiving this as a win, and they might be missing the bigger picture. This is more like mom saying, "Damn it, Billy, I don't have time for your sister crying right now, just let her play with you already." Would that be considered a win or a temporary fix? The point still stands that most publicly recognized sports teams and organizations have separate leagues for male and female players. Again, the moral ramifications of such gender-segregated leagues are less of the point than the fact that it exists in all sports as of right now. We are not debating if this is right or if this is wrong. We are just observing that this is the way sports are handled right now. If the IeSF is correct and esports is ever to become just as relevant of a sport as, say, chess or golf, the same rules for tournament play would have to apply. So what are you suggesting, Ryan? Are you saying that we shouldn't have spoken up? That the IeSF was right all along? Whoa, no, of course not. I'm saying that the IeSF took the wrong stance in this issue. If the IeSF truly believes that gender-divided tournaments are the only thing holding them back from being recognized as a real sport, then, by their logic, they just doom the future of esports, which brings us back to the hypocrisy. Honestly, this whole situation reeks of poor planning and immature finger-pointing. It's pretty safe to say that if a female-only Hearthstone tournament existed from the beginning, we wouldn't be having this conversation. Why? Because it wouldn't be out of the norm for other similar tournaments. Once again, I could go on about my personal beliefs on esports or women in sports, but what you should really take away from this is the IeSF compromised their own goals because they failed to understand what the community actually wanted. And the community compromised their own future by not understanding what the IeSF was working towards. The end result was not a win per se, it was a peace offering for a mistake that can still be made again in the future. So, what did we learn today? Everyone is a loser when you fail to consider your opponent's argument.